Morning, Bitcoiners. I hope you're doing well. Who could complain? The golden age has begun. No way we can complain today. Life is too beautiful. Winning. Big time winning, Bitcoiners. We love it. We love it. Waiting for these chats to work. We'll see what they say over on YouTube comments. Thanks for all making it today. Underslept as we are. Jimmy Hayes says, it's just the beginning. It sure is. It's just the beginning. The Bitcoin era has begun, friends. Of course, it's just the beginning. We're just getting started. We're just getting started. Let's see what the YouTube comments still says. No YouTube happening. So I am not confident YouTube will work this morning. It's, it's software, but if you don't, there we go. Assalamu alaikum. Bye, Felicia. Bye, Felicia. See you later. Assalamu alaikum, says Muslim Bitcoiner. Johnny Midas, greetings, Nolan. Greetings, Johnny Midas. I hope you're doing well. Who could complain? It's one of the greatest days of all time. Whoever was around in 2020 to know exactly what this felt like. Not being able to talk about this stuff. We can talk about it all now. It's over. The scammers are done. Veterans Cannabis. Good morning, Bitcoin Breakup Breakfast Team. Winner all. We did it. We did it. Isn't it fun? I mean, I did not have what I would call a party night. 2016, when he won, I was just rocking and rolling all night long. I mean, I had a back shed garage thing in my place. I was just back and forth. I still had a bit of alcohol going on in my life back then. Normal, it was a party. Just partying, listening to music, having a good time, going out and walking. But the PTSD of 2020 and watching the craziness happen as it did in 2020, I just was not. I went to bed sort of on the same vibe. I probably passed out around 1 o'clock last night. It felt like he'd won, but I was sure I'd wake up to surprises, and I did not. I woke up and it went the way we all hoped, right? So excited, about to implode in love, Veterans Cannabis says. Indeed, isn't it wonderful? I can't believe we did it. B for victory. Bon matin. Good morning, Bitcoiners. We love to hear it. B for victory. Darsab says, by the way, thanks, Nolan, for all the psychological support these past few years. Thanks, Darsab. Yeah, that's why we did it. I mean, we really did it for that reason. The bleakness of 2020 and the election just meant that I personally needed a forum to be able to talk about this stuff. And you guys helped me do that. I'd say we were the first platform in all of media, the entire internet, the collectivity of the internet. I'm pretty sure the Breakup was the first platform that described the intersection, the inevitable intersection of Trump and Bitcoin for this cycle. Remember, we said it's happening now. We said that in the darkest days of 2020, 2021. I was actually looking at some past episodes for the first clear prediction I made about it. And it's kind of all over the place. It's kind of all over the place. You see it from the very beginning of the show in 2021. You see it straight through. I'd say I only became explicit on it in summer of 2023, where I was saying explicitly, Trump will embrace Bitcoin and it will make a Bitcoin era in this election, and that Bitcoin would be one of the main, if not the main, fault line of the 2024 election. And we were right. We were right. America spoke. Boom, indeed. Stay humble, stack sats. That is good advice, right? We're only going to laugh at the losers a little bit today. We don't want to go too far, right? It'll be like when you look back at Sodom and Gomorrah and you got turned into a pillar of salt. We don't need to spend too much time laughing at them. They are pathetic. We do have to talk about it a little bit. Sanding Plain says, indeed, America spoke. Boom. Austin Alexander, LFG. Austin has been DMing me the past little while. Do you think we're going to win? I was always I think it's going to happen. I thought it would take us a bit longer. My PTSD said we'd probably have to fight for the next few weeks. And I suppose my legal, because when I'm not a lawyer, but I was still trained in law. And one of the misgivings, I guess, or unfortunate things that happens when you think like a lawyer is that you worry about things, right? That's part of what lawyers are paid to do, worry for you. And so I get why people would be worried. And, I had built all these legal contingencies in case this happened or that happened. But this was, I think, the most inevitable pathway. Love to see it. Love to see it. Veterans. Yeah, thanks, Nolan. Absolutely excellent. Great work, brother. Thanks, veterans. Can you believe this? Catacomb says, hard to believe. Jevy, hello, my fellow Bitcoiners. We love it. Young Tommy, we did it. Free Ross. We'll talk about that. That's a prediction that I have. Where do I sats? Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Where do I sats? Glad you made it. I remember the breakdown of how FTX swung the election in 2020. Yeah, that was the show that hooked me. And that was it, Daniel. That was it. FTX. And I think we're going to come to terms with what happened in 2020. I think we're going to come to terms with that. I think we're going to hear more about how FTX did this. In my mind, when I moved against SBF and FTX in September 2022, which was not long after we started this show permanently in the hour-long slot at 8 a.m. this time on Bitcoin Magazine. And so at that time, one of the things that triggered me to get it done was that I had seen that the entire CFTC commission, all 5 commissioners who had all been appointed by the Democrat Party in January 2022. So they had wiped out all of the old Republican nominees that Trump had put in there, like Christopher Giancarlo and a few of these other folks. Brian Kintens, all of these folks now work in crypto, so I still see them around. But what I knew was, because I knew some of the lawyers from there and I knew kind of what was going on, and because I was at Kraken, I saw what FTX was doing with its prediction market. And in September 2022, after these 5 commissioners came in January, they managed to ban election prediction markets in America. They banned them. Now, I said, well, what's this all about? I don't mind if you ban election prediction markets. I get it, but you got to give a reason. They gave 0 reason. When I see 0 reasons for something like this, I think corruption. And in my estimation, what was going on in 2022 was they understood the power that the election prediction markets had to create a counterpoint to polls and also to just create some kind of narrative barnacling where you can put it there and things grow on top of it and you can actually start grafting a narrative onto it, which is what happened with FTX in 2020 because they had very low volume in their prediction market order book. Remember, we've been talking about the polymarket thing. That's what I think the ban was in 2022. They didn't want people to have this much conversation and dialogue about prediction markets because they can overwhelm. And what we saw in 2020 was that there was only about $2 million traded on the FTX order book. It was not this huge thing. And suddenly that was used in right now. Remember what it was like in 2020. We didn't know who won yet. And it was just the talking heads saying, oh, of course, Biden's going to win, da, 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 da. But they kept rolling out this prediction market. They'd never talked about it before. And then suddenly they're rolling out. Now, I was already keyed into this prediction market from 2020 on and straight through 2022. And that's really what started triggering me. If you remember, Eric Voorhees' interview questioning SBF happened not long after this. It's because we could all see that he was going for regulatory capture and the prediction markets were just the first part of it. So that became pretty obvious to a lot of people. And that's why Eric Voorhees crashed the ship right into him. And that was the end. Arthur Hayes released the short coin that he created, and that was the end of it. FTX was gone. And there we go. We're going to talk about what's next, Jose. We're going to talk about what's next for sure. For sure. The Catacomb says Trump made it back and Bitcoiners helped. Well, I don't even think just helped. I don't even think it's more than just helped. The way I see it is people are calling this Trump's comeback and Trump made a comeback, and he did. He did. This is never to take away from Trump. He's one of the most amazing people to ever live on planet Earth. However, the comeback piece was a bit of a trick that he played in that when he disappeared after 2020 and we were all left to pick up the pieces, it was really our comeback that we're seeing here. The energy of Trump ended up getting put into us individually. The people who knew 2020 was stolen, the people who understood the truth of don't trust, verify. And once you understand don't trust, verify, you understood what happened exactly in 2020, and you knew what environment you were really in. And so the actual comeback is our comeback. Trump, I mean, I don't want to take away from Trump. That's not what I'm saying. But the truth is, the people who understood what had happened, and not even the people who kept believing in Trump, the people who kept fighting against the evil that we saw come up out of 2020 and COVID and all that stuff. This is our comeback. And the energy that Trump got coincided with the comeback that we made after SBF. Remember what people said about us, right? Remember what people said about Bitcoiners in 2022 when SBF fell. We're done. We were done, they said. We were done. Trump was done. We were done. And in the end, we were all just this latent potential energy. And when Trump needed it, when he needed to access the thing that put him over the top, it was the people who understood don't trust, verify at a base level, that it was fundamental for society. And that's why I've been going on and on about talking about the elections. I mean, I think the Breakup was one of the first places on the internet where you could actually talk about the scam of 2020. Now, luckily, my legal training allowed me to be able to talk about this in such a way that I never got a strike. I never got canceled from YouTube. I never got taken down. We were able to have the conversation. I don't think I ever lied or made anything up. I did my best to give you the simplest, irrefutable way of framing 2020. And it looks like we're going to be able to do that now. We're going to be able to prosecute what happened in 2020 accordingly. I mean, think about a historian. A historian, the fake historians they brought out for the past few months have to now explain that even though he stole the election in 2020, they had still loved him and they voted for him in 2024, which is insane, right? So the comeback is ours, guys. It's our comeback. As much as Trump is the riding the wave of it, but all of that potential energy that Trump had went into us, and that's how we've made it to where we are, which is just great. We love it. All right, well, guess what? I don't have much Moscow time because the fake news has nothing. There's not much they can do, but I got a couple. We're not going to turn ourselves into pillars of salt, okay? Well, hold on. First, we got to acknowledge we got some sun. The sun's up, everyone. Let's have a coffee. Talk about the golden age. So we don't want to do a Sodom and Gomorrah thing, right? We're not laughing at the people who are getting turned into pillars of salt and getting destroyed, right? We're not here for that. But we do got to acknowledge that they're having a bad day. Rachel Maddow was crying. It's a big surprise. She had to hide back tears. It was not easy for her. I'm sorry, Rachel. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Rachel. It's tough. And these guys, he had a lot of this face yesterday. You know this one? This was the thing. But they weren't, it wasn't like 2016 when they were just like apoplectic and like, what happened? They were just kind of resigned. They were just kind of dealing with it yesterday. It wasn't as fun as it could have been. If you weren't around in 2016 to see how hilarious that was, because that just shocked them. That was a punch out of nowhere in the face, and they were like, oh, I don't know what's going on. This time it's kind of like they're like, we know we're dumb. Shit, we're the dumb ones, I guess. So that's fine. Here's Fisher King had a good way of putting it. I'll read it to you. Fisher King says, the NBC coverage is resigned. They aren't in any full-blown panic. They see Trump will win, even though they haven't called it. And they seem depressed but accepting. Not like 2016. There may be somewhat less hysteria and more opportunity for progress in a Trump second term. I think that's true. Yeah. It's a cry harder situation, right? It's definitely a cry harder situation. We got Molly Jong Fast. She was really funny last night, guys. This is like the cat lady extraordinaire. She's like the greatest cat lady out there. She's some wino from New York City who's so intellectual. She's so smart. Oh, God. She does all the fun. She reads all the New Yorker. She's just so well-read. She's so great, right? She's so great. And she's been saying out here that, Trump is telling us all about his potential plans in internment camps. She's got to live like that. She's got to wake up today thinking she's going to an internment camp. I'm going to a concentration camp. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. She had a couple other good ones, though. Let me find one of the best ones she had. Not easy for these people. We love to see it. We love to see it. Let me see. Oh yeah, Matt Visser. He's crying. Matt Visser. Matt Visser. He's a Washington Post journalist. He was a regular on our Moscow time. I haven't heard from Phil Bunk today. I want to know how Phil Bunk's doing. So Matt Visser is the Catholic. He's on the Catholic beat for the Washington Post, and he was the one who gave Joe Biden an award for Catholic of the Year like 2 years ago, and never mentioned the prostitute or the stripper granddaughter, the daughter. No, there's anything wrong with the granddaughter, but her mom's a stripper, and it's not, that's the stripper thing is not the bad thing. Nothing to do with the kid or whatever. It's that he denies the child. He's such a great Catholic. I'm going to deny a grandkid and win Catholic of the Year. Imagine. That's the kind of person this journalist is, Matt Visser. So Matt Visser, she still has a chance. He's still out there. He hasn't conceded, right? It's not going so well for him. But here's the Molly Jong Fast one, right? This is what she was saying last night. You have Elon Musk, who owns Twitter, X, who is a disinformation propagandist. That's what Elon Musk... Guys, you didn't know? Elon Musk is actually a disinformation propagandist. Okay, now you know. These people are so reliable, and they give you the best info. They just give you the best insight. So if you were coming here and you were like, maybe I can learn something about rocket science or engineering or futurism or about manifesting things in life that we want, right? Because that's what Elon seems to be great at doing. No. He's a disinformation propagandist. Everybody knows. That's what Molly Jong Fast is out there trying to get you to believe today, that Elon Musk is a disinformation propagandist. And he's going to have a direct line of communication to the White House. Oh my God. The smartest man in the world is going to be involved with American governance. Say it ain't so. And then, of course, the added benefit, right? Just the pirate ship that Trump created, the all-star team, the X-Men, whatever you want to call them. But just watching them now come together for this. And how many presidents has Trump brought along with him? We get Ron Paul as a backup president. We get Elon Musk as a backup president. We get RFK as a backup president. We get Tulsi as a very effective cabinet member. We're going to get Vivek in the cabinet, I'm sure. I mean, do you understand what's about to happen to the Fiat world? They're not going to survive this. This is over. This is done. It's finished. Not only that, the ability to even run these stupid fake news Fiat propagation thing that we've been talking about forever, the ability of Fiat to propagate around the world, requires the fake news to have not just the ability to broadcast around the world and reach a bunch of people. It's got to reach enough people that they drown out the things they disagree with and they want to hide and ignore, like Bitcoin, like the debt, like the Operation Choke Point 2.0 and all these things. That's all done. They can't do that anymore. They've realized that the mainstream media cannot propagate the network. We are in the Fiat apocalypse. It will not survive Trump. It will not survive what's coming. The federal government of the United States will not survive this. And then we're talking about where this is going to head next. I can make a first prediction, right, about where it's headed next. And that has everything to do with America's ability to shrink the federal government. So you hear about the Doge thing, you hear about Ron Paul coming, you hear about what Trump is going to do. But just go one step a little further and start imagining what that looks like. Right now, I don't want to mind read Donald Trump, but one thing that he's got going for him that's very different this time is the amount of love that the American people have for him. The amount of just unabashed, unashamed enthusiasm for Trump. You were never able to do that in 2016. You were never able to do that in 2020. Now, what I predict is going to happen is like you see all the Bitcoiners today. Now, give me my thing. Give me my free Ross right now, buddy. Give me free Ross day one. And that's right. So what you're going to get is everyone going to Trump to ask him for shit. And most of the shit they're going to ask him for will end up actually destroying the federal government. And I believe, and I've told you this many times, my hope, even when I was not, before Trump went free Ross, before Trump went fully on what we wanted, right? I would always say, what I want for Trump in the future is that he goes into a stadium and everyone loves him and appreciates him and claps for him and he's a hero and he's an American icon and it's love, love, love. So now that he's won and that he's in, I still believe he's going to go for the same. He's got all this enthusiasm. I don't think he's going to want to turn against these people. I think he's going to want to keep, after all he's been through, he's going to want to keep that warm and fuzzy love going. What does that mean? It means we get what we want all the time. When you see him saying you get no tax and you get no tax on tips, no tax on old people, maybe Bitcoin shouldn't be taxed. He said, that's not fair, right? It's going to go much further. The income tax is going to die because everyone's going to keep coming to ask him for shit and he's going to want to stay popular. The way for him to stay popular now is to unwind the fiat megalopolis structure, the overarching superstructure of fiat, the banking system, the media system, all of it is coming down. It's not going to survive this. And the minute we understand that taxes and debt and the effect that it has on our lifestyle, you're going to have the actual separation of money and state, and it's going to be driven from a new set of founding fathers, and it's going to be beautiful and amazing. And Ross is going to be out, and we're going to get everything we want. We're going to get everything we actually want, and we're not going to get sick of the winning. And we're going to be building energy systems. We're going to be building all that kind of stuff. I'll tell you, I'm pivoting this entire show. We're moving into Citadel tech. I mean, we called this show The Breakup because we were cataloging and chronicling the breakup of the fiat system. It's broken up. We're done. It ain't going to make it past this. I'm going into what's next, which is rebuilding the world, rebuilding the society in the image of our golden age. And that will start with Bitcoin. And it's going to look a lot like what we've been talking about this show for a while, on this show for a while. It's going to be citadels. It's going to be healthy food. We're going to have pasture land. We're going to have all the things that we wanted to have. And it's right on the doorstep. We're going to get it in this election cycle. We're going to get it in this era. And we're here. We did it. So first up, I'll be doing more Citadel tech stuff. When I talk about Citadel tech, I'll be able to cover everything from energy systems, right? Because the energy systems are going to be big in these new Citadels. That's really what Bitcoin's contribution is to these Citadels. It's all about creating energy systems that can exist in an independent way. They don't have to be plugged into the grid the same way. And so you're going to start to see this stuff more and more. Trump's Freedom City contest is a go. We're going to get a Bitcoin Citadel within the 10 submissions that he's accepting to build 10 brand new cities. I think at least one of them will be a Bitcoin Citadel. You'll hear more about that from myself and from the events that I'll be producing this year. I'll be producing the Satoshi Roundtable. I'll be producing the CoinDesk show in Toronto, a few others. So it's we got a lot of stuff. Citadel tech through and through. We love the Citadel tech, but I have a few more predictions, right? So we're not done with just that. So the next one is the 2020 election. We're going to prosecute the shit out of this thing, right? We're going to figure out exactly what happened. We're going to move the entire election system into a Bitcoin frame. It will be a don't trust, verify frame going forward. We're going to have full auditability of our elections. I think this is the end of Democrat Party as we know it. They're going to have a real recalibration after this. Whether they keep the name or have to completely rebrand, we'll see. But speaking of that, right, as we go through the 2020 election and figure out exactly how bad things were, Sanding Plain brings up exactly what I want to get to next, which is the military trials. Indeed, these are coming, guys, and get prepared. It's not going to be, if you're into nonviolence, this is not going to be the thing. Right. So this is maybe the last gasp of violence in the fiat system, but I think it's necessary. I think that what happened with Fauci and all these people is so bad that even myself, I can't say I'm a 100% pacifist, but I've never been comfortable with writing laws that allow governments to kill people. I mean, that's my only objection to capital punishment. I'm conceptually for capital punishment, but I've never been able to write the law that would allow you to do that, right? Once you sit yourself down to write it, you can't actually give that power to someone. It's a hard thing to do. But it's going to happen. I'm afraid to say it's going to happen. And it's going to be messy. Now, who are they going to get? I mean, I think Fauci is an obvious one. I don't think you want to go too far, right? I don't think you want to get so far into the political world. For example, I think Obama doesn't get dropped from a spaceship. That said, he is an absolute fucking scumbag. And whatever good things I've ever said about Obama in my life, I take them all back. I gave him until basically this week as the benefit of the doubt. He's probably not, probably not. No. He was out there repeating the fine people hoax. He can fucking drop from space for all I care. And I don't think it's going to happen, right? I don't think it's going to happen. But he is on the shit list forever, and I'll never say another good thing about him. He made me a liar, right? He made me a liar. I defended him for years, even though I wanted nothing to do with his politics, even though I was not on his side, even though all that stuff. I just knew people loved him, and I said, well, there must be something good about him if this amount of people, this many good people actually like the guy. I take that all back. He's a mischief-making son of a bitch who went around in America pushing the worst hoax, the Charlottesville Fine People hoax, even though it's the easiest thing. There's no way he believes it. There's no way he believes it, right? Because it's obvious and fake. So that fucking scumbag, I hope, in the same way that I hope Trump never is able to go into a stadium without just love pouring out of Americans' hearts and loving him and expressing our gratitude for him, I hope Obama gets the opposite. I hope everywhere Obama goes from now on, he has that stupid sullen face, that stupid ugly face. And you know what? Scott Adams started doing this. If they're going to go with the fine people hoax, guess what I'm doing? And I'm never going to stop this. Now that we're in this era where we can just be belligerent fucking assholes again, Big Mike has the biggest dick going. All right. If they're going to play so dirty with fine people hoax, I'm going the opposite way. From now on, Big Mike, the big dick playa, forever. Michelle Obama has a dick, guys, a huge cock. Barack Obama sucks away at it every day. He just goes all over Big Mike's cock. All right, that's what's going on. So forever now, Big Mike is a big dick cock fucking asshole, and Obama sucks that fucker back all the time. All right, that's what's going on. If they're gonna do fine people hoax, that's what you get. All right, you get big dick Big Mike from now on. For me, obviously, I know it's fake. I don't care. I believe it now. I believe it. He's got a huge dick. Michelle Obama is a guy with a dick. All right. All right. If that's the way we're going to fucking play, Michelle Obama has a huge dick. Definitely a guy. Definitely that's what's going on. So that's enough of that, right? That's what's going on. So, and another one. We're not done. We're not done. We're not done. We're not done. Jack Dorsey. He can also fucking die. Okay? Get the fuck out of here, Jack. I don't care if you're into fucking Bitcoin, all this motherfucking stuff. All right? I don't care anymore. I don't give a fuck. He was out there pushing the Russia collusion hoax on Nostr the other day. That's what he was doing. Jack Dorsey, of all the things he could be doing right now, is out there saying, don't be a statist. Don't be a fucking statist. What? What? I don't give a fuck if you wear Satoshi Nakamoto t-shirts. I don't care. I don't give a fuck. You are a scumbag, Jack Dorsey. A fucking scumbag. All right? Fuck off. Don't come around. Nobody likes you. No one wants to hear your, oh, we just got to be a better country. Oh, no. Fuck you, Jack Dorsey. I don't give a fuck if you're into Bitcoin. I don't give a fuck. All right? You're going out there peddling low IQ information to other low IQ people. And you think you can get away with this shit? You think Bitcoiners after this are going to be like, Jack's a real hero. Oh, what a great guy. Oh, Jack Dorsey. Fuck you, Jack Dorsey, you scumbag, you fucking asshole. You spent years getting people like me to fucking defend you, right? To defend you. I defended you for years. No, Jack didn't know what's going on. He's a Bitcoiner. How could he be a scumbag? How could Jack Dorsey be such a fucking scumbag? I said it a million times on the show. There's video evidence forever. I'm going to have to be a guy who defended that stupid scumbag. Until this week, I defended him. I defended him constantly. I said, no. I've met him. There's no way. There's no way he was involved in this shit. No way. At this point, now I have no proof he was involved in any of this shit, right? But no more benefit of the doubt for Jack. None. He was out there with his buddies Jay-Z and fucking Beyonce with his dumb Satoshi Nakamoto shirt. Fuck him. Fuck him. All right? Scumbag. So that guy's got to go, right? What turned me around, he was out sharing Michael Moore's movie, Fahrenheit 11/9, the dumbest, fakest thing about Trump. He was sharing it on Nostr this week, so luckily no one saw it. And he's out there pushing this shit. So fuck him, right? What's his excuse for everybody knows Russia collusion was fake. No, we're not. Jose, you don't need to space drop him. It's not at that level. You know what I mean? It won't change anyone. He's not even a fucking criminal at this point, right? He's just a scumbag. You don't have to space drop people for being scumbags. But whatever, thing that Dorsey had where it was like Bitcoiners could say, well, he's on our team. No, he's not. No, he's not. No. He's not on your fucking team. All right. He was out there running Fiat propaganda straight into your fucking brain. And he's still pushing it on Nostr. All right. Fuck him. Scum. Absolute scum. Now, yeah, whack Dorsey. You tell him, yeah, Manchel, Obama. It's unreal, this stuff. It's unreal. So, I mean, I even defended Jack against Bruce Fenton. Bruce Fenton. I went not personally against Bruce, but I said, maybe Bruce, you're wrong. Maybe you're wrong, Bruce. Maybe you got this one a little wrong because Bruce took aim at Jack last year for all this stuff. And I said, wait a minute here, Bruce. Wait a minute. Jack doesn't seem that bad, right? No, I don't. Look, no, I don't think it taints ocean mining. No, I mean, look, he's not stupid. So if he's doing something, I'm not saying don't follow it, right? Business-wise or whatever. That's not what I'm saying. It doesn't take away his ability to pick a winner or have insight into the future. It just says what he was willing to live with that would hurt you, right? Because him, like me, if what's her slut had won, what's her slut's name again? Kamala, right? If she'd have won, then I would have been fine. I got multiple passports. I'm fine. Like, I'm not living I have jurisdictional arbitrage. I got all the Bitcoin stuff that you want, right? I'm fine. I'm absolutely fine. But I wouldn't go out spreading lies that would hurt other people. That's what he did. He's fine too. We were fine with Kamala. It's fine. But he went out and spread those lies. So I can't forget that, and I won't forgive it. I won't. I mean, it's up to God to forgive him for what he did, but he's no longer on my defend list. Never again. I'll never defend anything that fucking scumbag does or says ever again. Ever. Fuck him. Scum. Absolute scum. Because, again, how does he not know? Does he really believe Michael Moore is an objective journalist or something, that he's got like insight that's worth sharing in 2024? You think a 2018 fake news documentary, is the way to go? And he's going with this, oh, don't be a statist, bro. The state ain't going to save you. What a cop-out. And it might not save him, but trust me, there's plenty of people that it's going to help not having Kamala Harris in power. So, scum. Bruce he's not a libertarian, I don't think. And he is a UAE apologist, yeah, but he's not a libertarian per se. He's around the New Hampshire libertarians. But that's what's going on, right? That's what's up. Jack lost me when he failed to get yeah, I don't want to put your comment up just because of the child stuff you're saying and the P word that you mentioned there, because sometimes that gets but yeah, I mean, that I probably should have known by then. But again, the excuse I always use for Jack is that what is typical in most corporations, and this is true of all companies, the CEO knows shit. They don't know anything. People keep the point of what most people below the CEO do with their day is to keep secrets from the boss. This guy's doing his job great. This guy's awesome. Everything is done in marketing. Don't worry. So in many companies, the CEO is the least informed person. And that was the frame I always used to protect Jack Dorsey. I said, look, he's the CEO. Of course, he doesn't know what's going on with all these people, right? Of course. I don't believe that anymore. Now, I don't mind that he made some money off of Elon when he sold the thing for hire, but I used to not care about the way he sold it for hire and Elon paying more. But now it makes me think that he's been, like that he tried to make this deal die by charging too much. Imagine, I don't know if that's true. I'm mind reading, but Dorsey has had way too many red flags since the Twitter censorship days. I think so too. And that's all I'm saying, is that I let him get away with this personally. Here on the Breakup, he's never, ever been criticized or held to account or anything. I've never done anything like that. But today is the last day. He's over with me. I'm done with him. Fuck him. Like, just a scumbag. Scum. Absolute scum. So there you go, Jack. Fucking loser. Fuck you, Jack. Just disgusting. So there you go. That's another one. So who's getting punished? I don't think Jack. They don't really rise to the level of punish. If Jack gets a little bit of lawfare his way or something like that, I don't really care. I'm not going to defend him. I don't give a shit what happens to him. I hope he just goes away and disappears. We don't need to hear from him again. He can't participate in the future of, let's call it, debate and leadership around where things head. You know what I mean? I know he can build companies, and I hope they work. And I love Cash App. I'm not going to stop using it. I'm not going to boycott Cash App because of him. Although I probably should, because they have a lot of stupid people over there. So I might actually do that. You know what? I might do that. I've had to put up with shit from fucking Cash App for years with programming their events. Oh, you're running a white supremacist event? Oh, alt-right? Fuck you, Cash App. Losers. San Francisco fucking losers. What was the point of doing that? I don't know, P-Man. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, Mark Cuban à la poubelle. Garbage person. Hey there, P-Man Van. So yeah, that's what's up. That's it. All right. So the next thing is some comments about mainstream media. So that's where things are headed. So what have we done? Where are things headed? We've done space drops are coming. Fauci definitely down from space. Who else? I don't know. I mean, like I said, I think it'd be bad for the country to do it to Obama, but I wouldn't stop them. I mean, I don't want it to be Obama, just because I feel like it will actually, I think it will actually be like that. Bitcoiners will continue to fall for his wise, old, soft-spoken billionaire grift. I don't think so, because we got new billionaires, and the new billionaires are going to create a contrast with him. And so his holier than thou, I'm above it all thing isn't gonna fly. When space drop? Well, I foresee you will hear about the military courts as it pertains to the 2020 election. So I don't know if you guys have heard Trump's secret. He's sort of alluded to it. I have a little secret, right? He's been talking about that for a while. The secret, as it turns out, and as it appears to me, is that there was a military case where a American person. So apparently election interference is an act of war against the United States and has to be treated as an act of war. And because Joe Biden didn't do that in 2020, he abdicated his responsibilities to protect the country from an act of war. So I don't know. This is all paperwork, boomer stuff, so it might not be real. But my understanding is we are going to get some form of insight onto what's gone on in the military side of the tribunals, as well as the Supreme Court. There's a name of the guy. I can't remember his name. The case has an actual name. So what I think you're going to see is the military court's perspective about what happened in 2020, and that will trigger certain events in 2025, like invalidating the 2020 election. Yes. I think history will note that we were under occupation for 4 years, and that will trigger we'll rectify that account, and there'll be people blamed for the voting system in 2020. That's how it will go back to COVID. COVID will become known as the voting, the system that took out the verifiability of voting. Not that it was ever there. But yeah, he Bitcoin block. He did. Obama did order feds to commit crimes. Again, I believe he's a criminal. So don't get confused about that, right? When I'm talking about space drops, what you're actually talking about is theater in order to persuade people. You wouldn't drop someone from space as an actual punishment. You're doing it to persuade people. It's a form of theater, so that they never do it again. That's why we go with the space drop, because who's not going to watch, right? Remember when the Felix Baumgartner jumped out of space, everybody watched. In this era, you got to compete for views, right? So it's like the rocket landings and all that. That's how you get viewers. So if you just kill these people with a needle in a back room like they do in Canada, no one's going to watch that, right? It's not that entertaining. So you got to make it entertaining. So you got to drop them. So that's what'll have to happen, right? That's what'll have to happen. So I do believe, yes, Austin's talking about the military tribunals. It won't, sounds like some Facebook Q stuff. Well, hold on. I'm not saying this has to be even factual, right? It's the predicate, it's the context. Once we get into a conversation about what happened in 2020, there will be ramifications, and you have to intellectualize what happened in 2020. I don't know about all this boomer Facebook Q stuff, like you're saying. It's true. There is an aspect of this that is like, oh, it's on paper, right? Oh, what happened? You have a contract, right? Stupid. So I agree. There's a part of it that's far-fetched. But what I mean is we're going to have to compartmentalize what happened in 2020. I believe we're going to invalidate the 2020 election as a result. And when we do that, the process by which it was made incredulous and a scam will be traced back to the lockdown mandates and COVID, because that was the predicate to send out the mail-in ballots. So I think those roads will intersect. And now, agree, I don't want to be one of these guys that say, he has a document. Don't you know? It's like what the insurrection scam was about in the first place. That was a QAnon scam because from internally from the Trump people, because it was like, what was it like? How do you get control of the country from being in a room? Is it a magic room in Congress? Then you're in the room and you get the lectern, and then you're in control. Like, it was always a fake paper boomer way of seeing the world. It was never possible to take control of a country through vandalism. Like, they don't give, it's not capture the flag, right? So anyone who thinks the world actually works like capture the flag, right? Like the QAnon stuff, there's that whole thing. He lives in the post, whoever has the post office in Washington, D.C. is in charge of the country and blah, blah, blah. It's all fake, obviously. So yeah, I agree that my intro to this is sketchy at best, right? So I'm hallucinating things to put them in place so that we understand the story. But what I believe will happen is, indeed, we're going to have to integrate 2020 into our historical narrative, into our worldview, and there's no way we're going to incorporate it as of just Joe Biden won and that was great, right? So you're going to have a redo of it all, and it will go back to the election integrity failings of 2020 and COVID's association with them. So that's why I think you're going to get a Fauci and a few other people. Now, like I said, I always blamed Trump for saying lock her up in 2016. I said that was a big mistake. And Trump is partly responsible for his own being on death row or being, capital punishment charges with some of the crimes that he was charged with. So, he's partly responsible for what happened to him. I won't deny that, right? I don't think of Trump as a victim here when it comes to the lawfare stuff against him. He did start a lot of this, you'd be in jail, the Hillary Clinton thing. So I don't want it to go that far with the politicians, frankly. I don't want Hillary Clinton dropped from space, as evil as she is, unless we find out that, frazzle drip and all that stuff is real, then we got to deal with her, right? If she actually is out there doing all that, pizza gate stuff, then. But we'll see, right? We'll see about that. Good morning, Nolan and gang. Latecomer slept in, celebrating crypto truth. Indeed. What's the last episode shit? Yeah, we're just going through. So here's the MSN power and the legacy media. So Nick Carter talking about it here. More than anything, I just feel relieved that reality, and this is what we've been talking about, reality bites. Remember I had an episode called that, Reality Bites? And it was all about the bite of reality, except I spelled it B-Y-T-E. Indeed, there's no escaping from this stuff, right? This reality. So this is what he says. Reality has finally been imposed on the establishment left. You can't manufacture enthusiasm using the mainstream media alone. You can't gaslight people into having the establishment run as the change candidate. You can't run a campaign without taking unscripted interviews. You can't install a candidate without a primary and claim to be the party of democracy. You can't run a campaign without specifying policy positions. You can't be the most leftist senator and then claim to be a moderate. The contradictions were too great. The arrogance was simply unbelievable. People saw through the facade. Thank God. Indeed. Thank God we saw through it. Or maybe the sound will get a little better. I've been on the normal mic for this whole time. Pardon me, guys, if the audio was no good. But I think the mic on this computer is pretty good, so it should have been okay. I don't remember that I wished to see losing the. It's better than I thought. Yeah, I don't know if you remember that I wished him and to just see the left losing their minds. Yeah, yeah. How we see USA after Trump. What is post? Sounds good. Yeah. The Tea Party replacing the Democrats. Well, my prediction about what's next is we've ended World War One. We never ended World War One. We ended it yesterday. The war is over. And I'll even do this with you guys. This is what I did when we had Trump speak in Nashville. The minute the speech was over, I walked around the whole venue seeing friends, and I just said, "Congratulations, sir. It was an honor serving in this war with you. Right? It was an honor serving in the war with you." Because I was acting as if it was already over. I would just go up to people, not great speech. I was like, "It was an honor, sir. It was an honor serving in the war with you. I appreciate all your effort. World War III was great. I had a great time with you. What are you doing after the war?" Right? I kept at, what are you doing after the war? I treated it like Victory Day, the day after Trump's speech. So I think we're back in that position. What are you doing after the war is how I'll ask lots of people, right? What are you doing after the war? What are you doing after the war? So I think we did it. I think World War One has never ended. It's been going on this whole time, and we just ended it. I've used that frame many times that World War II and what we find ourselves in here in World War III was really just that we built a bunch of stuff to win World War II, and we never shut it off. It's like a big aircraft carrier that's still running and not doing anything. And we finally had the reason to take it off and turn it down, and there we go. Can we do an I Ching reading on the Trump win? We sure can, PH. Let me fire that up for you. I shall get it. I got to get my iPad because I have the I Ching thing app that I've been using on the show this whole time. So I'll definitely get that. So yeah, what's next is we tear this whole thing down. We tear down Washington, D.C. We tear down the federal government, the construct that is USA Inc. And that will be gone. And it's going to take some time. It's going to take multiple administrations, I think. I think we do more than ever bifurcate as a society. I think that you are going to have the sludge people that are not going to be able to deal with this, and so we're going to have them to deal with, but they'll never be strong enough again to do anything. So they're just going to be mentally ill people that we've got to take care of. So I'd say it's time for all of us, if you have those people in your family, start changing your mindset on how you deal with them, right? Try and have a little bit of empathy and sympathy for what they're going through. And that's probably the only way we can help them. Pity them, right? Don't argue with them. There's no arguing getting through today. It's pity. You have to pity them all. They're your responsibility too, these sludge people. So whichever ones you think are worthy of your time and effort, try and help, right? Because it's not going to be easy. Look at what they were told. Look at the world they're waking up into today. They believe Hitler is in control. So it's bleak. It's bleak for them. So the whole thing's coming down, and it's going to take a while. We'll be fine, right? We'll be fine. I do think there's going to be a little bit of financial comeuppance because we don't really know how bad the Dems were running things. So that'll come out. Daniel says KYC, AML on the way out. The Fed is toast. IRS is over. Yeah, that's all true. All this is gone, guys. The IRS will not survive this. It will not survive. It will not survive Trump's desire to be loved. He knows we're going to love him, and he loves the tariffs. And so there's just no way. I think the new cities, for example, the Citadels, they'll be tax-free. If we don't get the full death of income tax, we'll get it in the Citadels. We'll get it in the Trump's freedom cities. They will be tax-free. I'd say consumption taxes are coming, by the way, guys, which we're okay with, right? I don't mind a U.S. sales tax won't bother me. So if there's one unpopular thing that you're worried about that Trump will do, I think he'll put a national sales tax in. I think that's coming. He has no choice. He's got to do the tariffs, but sales taxes are good for Bitcoiners. We don't buy all that shit, right? They'll take the tax away from the Bitcoin, so you'll be able to go and do that, right? Funny when you find AI flaws, like the 3 fingers and thumb fist. Yeah, I didn't see that. Yeah, 3 fingers and super Bitcoin Trump art behind Nolan. Yeah, funny, yeah. Didn't even notice that. Yeah, got a big head too. So yeah, KYC, AML stuff is out. Fed won't make it. The Fed is going to turn into the food stamp distributor. It's going to be exactly what we said on the show. They're going to be handing out political debt as food. That'll be the way it goes. Elon Musk is going to go looking for that missing money. No, the money's all gone, guys. There's no missing money. It's all fake. So they're not going to find anything. You can find fake stuff anywhere. So that's all gone. Maybe make movies about the Bitcoin virus. Yeah, it says Crypto Truth. Yeah. All right, what else did I have? Yeah, so it's our comeback. We got the Fisher King. We got Citadel News. We got punishments. We got the MSM failures. We have the scumbags that will never come back into the good graces. Obama, Jack Dorsey. So there's a few of these people, right? The UK government sent officials to help Kamala. Is that an act of war, Roy Kokup? Yes, it is. Europe is a shithole that we should treat that way. They're not. That was an act of war, I think, England against us. Now, I love the British people, so I don't want that kind of war. But they better be ready to understand that there is no more special relationship. That's all finished. If you're coming after American people's freedom of speech and we survive, you're fucking toast. Fuck you, England. You're in the same group, right? Fucking City of London, the fucking Bank of England, central banking cartel jerks are done. Yeah, that's it. Honestly, they're done. Fuck them. You come around Europe and give us shit. The Europeans have no, I saw this on the internet yesterday. It's so true, right? About the European mind's ability to withstand US propaganda. They have no resistance against it. It's like smallpox to them. They don't understand what's going on. They're so trusting in because they live in an American colony. They live in a mirror version of America, in a fractal of America, and don't understand this. They never understood that what they have as countries were set up by America to create an air gap between them and the true source of the propaganda and the fiat perpetuation machine. So they're always one step away from it. And because they're 1 degree removed, they're retarded. And they don't know. I mean, if you saw the numbers yesterday, the other, what's her slut, Kamala would have won by like 1 million votes everywhere. So millions of votes, not a million, millions of votes. She would have won by millions of votes. So they're fucked. They're fucked unless they embrace this stuff, which they will. They'll be fine. Eventually they'll be fine. But we're not doing any helping. Like they're on their own. Fuck them. So maybe now Canada can get, well, Canada's screwed too, so they're done. All these countries are done. I mean, America will be the only, just like the fiat had been, fiat reduced all money in the world to the American dollar because everything else gained meaning from being relative to the US dollar and gained value by its value being measured versus the US dollar. The US dollar was the reference point, the reference of all other monies. That's what's done. Bitcoin will be the reference for all other monies, and the countries that can't hold together won't. And Canada is one of those ones. Now, the European countries are all ethnically based, so they make sense to keep them the way they are. The Canadian thing is fake, so it can't survive. America, now that America is entering this golden age, America will be set to absorb the failed states around it, and Canada will be one of those. The reason is, to understand Canada's downfall is quite simple. What you got to understand about Canada is that it was created after the US Civil War in the 1860s. Now, it was created in order to avoid a part 3 of England versus America. England had fought the Revolutionary War against America, then it fought the War of 1812. In the 1860s, when America did its own civil war, there was so much military innovation, ironclad ships and battleships and steamships and machine guns, and it just went nonstop. The innovation the Americans displayed, it was like Silicon Valley. They went nuts with it. That was like one of the first instances of mega U.S. innovation, and it all went to war. And they got so good at it that England went, okay, Canada, we're not. You're done. We can't help you. You're done. Like, if America wants to take you, they will. Because what was going on is they started building a north-south infrastructure after the Civil War. And that north-south infrastructure threatened the British ability to make Canada. So they said, you're on your own. We're not, and by on your own, it was a bank thing. They said, we're not actually financing infrastructure because we can see the Americans are building north-south. In order for us to link the country east-west, we'd have to pay for this. London would have to pay for this. And if we pay for this, the Americans are going to get pissed and they're going to fight us because it's going to be in their way. And so we don't want to do this. We're out. You're on your own, Canada. Good luck. Good luck. And so Canada, being a clever nation at the time, said, well, the United States is going to be so busy, just like now, celebrating its victory after the Civil War, celebrating the nation coming together and rebuilding. They're going to have no time to think about us. So how can we do this? How can we build east-west infrastructure? The point of Canada happened right then and there. They needed to consolidate banking and finance into a federal envelope in order to finance the construction of infrastructure east to west. Not north-south, as everything was coming from Chicago and New York and bringing it all down into the States from the regions of Canada where you have a lot of resources. And so when that impetus came from the Canadians, now Americans it was all private industry was running everything. The war had demobilized state capacity. There was no big plan to take over Canada. It was just going to be accidental. What happened by creating Canada when they did is they copied American federalism exactly. So we have states and a federal government. We did the exact same thing as America. We divided the powers almost identically to the United States. It was an almost exact copy of how the United States runs, except we made banking in Canada federal versus a state competency in the United States. That was to do this trick of consolidating the money because we had just enough money to build a railroad, just enough. If we put all the money from Vancouver and British Columbia with the money from Quebec and the money from Toronto and Ontario, if we put all that money together, they could build an east-west train, and they did. But again, remember the point of Canada is the banking and the east-west infrastructure. They had to go together. When they stopped building the east-west infrastructure, and I'm talking now about pipelines, I'm talking now about energy coming from the west to the east in Canada. We have so much oil in Canada, we never brought it east. And so here in Montreal, I get my oil from the Middle East. That's true. Even though I could get it from there. They take it over on train, but they already blew up a whole Quebec town by a train accident just 20 years ago, not even 15 years ago. The whole town, boom, gone. So the rails are not the way to get the oil. It doesn't even get enough oil. We needed the pipeline. The pipeline was canceled by Trudeau and the sick federal government of Canada. So do the math again. Go back to the beginning of the country. If you consolidate banking for the purpose of east-west infrastructure, but you don't build the infrastructure anymore, we didn't build it. What are you left with? Just banks. The point of Canada is the banks. That's the point. The point of Canada. The point. If you're not building the infrastructure, remember, the point originally was federal banking to pay for east-west unnatural infrastructure. Unnatural. It wasn't natural to build east and west. That's something that was done purposefully, right? It wouldn't make sense to do it, but they did it. And now that they don't build the stuff anymore, we believe that the banks were the purpose of Canada. That's the point. Well, they're going to find out something very soon, that the north-south infrastructure from the United States is coming. It's coming. And Trump is going to give Alberta its pipeline. They're going to give the north-south thing because Canada was too stupid. So Alberta is about to get the oil. And the pipeline will come to the United States. They're doing the very point of Canada, the north-south. It's not going to happen. So Alberta, we know how to break Canada apart. Alberta, once they make enough money, and now if you understand how Canada actually works, within the states of Canada, they have to do this magic trick where every state has to have the same amount of money. And so Quebec cheated in the early days because Quebec, through Justin Trudeau's dad, doesn't count its hydroelectricity as part of its GDP. So it just eliminates all of its GDP. So Quebec looks poor. Alberta has to count its oil and gas revenues. So Alberta looks really rich, even though Quebec is probably richer because we have all the hydroelectricity. We're like Texas in Quebec. We have so much energy, right? So what happens is when Alberta has to pay about $10 billion a year to keep Quebec happy, they got to pay them they got to bribe them $10 billion a year, and they get nothing for it. Once the math is done with Alberta and they understand exactly what it costs, and they do, they're ready to go. Canada would break apart already if Alberta had a port and could get its product to market without having to ask its neighbors for help. But its neighbors never helped. They never helped. The neighbors haven't helped in 40 years and they let them rot in Alberta. What do you think is going to happen when Trump gives them everything they want and make them rich? They're not going to pay the bills of Canada. They're done. They're out. They're going to become, whatever happens next in America with Elon and Trump and everything, there's going to be a renegotiation. We see it here, Roy Colcup saying Nord Stream 2, Epstein's list, JFK docs, exactly. All these things coming out are going to create a renegotiation of American federalism. I do think you're going to have a look at the Constitution in the next few years to strengthen the Republic and to strengthen states' rights and to limit the potential power of the federal government from ever growing again. And so when you have that New Deal, and I believe that New Deal will not involve taxes, the IRS won't be a part of it. So integrating a state into America is going to be very easy. It's going to come with a whole new list of obligations and responsibilities to the Federation that'll be a lot less high touch. You can almost be more of a sovereign state and still join America than we would previously understand now. That's where this is headed, I think. In the same way that Texas exists within the federal structure, it's going to go more in that direction. The whole country is about to become more like Texas. And a place like Alberta would fit into that equation. Now, here's the fun stuff. If you actually break Canada apart from the federal government in Ottawa, the whole legal structure of Canada Inc. breaks. And the territories, which are not provinces or states, so Yukon, Northwest Territories, actually become no man's land. And so America will get, in this 4-year cycle, I believe, we'll get a land bridge from Alaska right down to the continental United States through Alberta. And they might even get a bit more. British Columbia will be its own thing. Ontario will be its own thing. I think that'll just be called Canada. I think Canada will be turned into like a little rump along the Great Lakes. Quebec will be on its own. We'll be fine. We're going to be the greatest money laundering, amazing Bitcoin energy place on the continent. Quebec is going to be off the hook amazing. And that's what's going to happen. So we're going to have a renegotiation of federalism. America's going to grow. Canada's going to be better off. This is better for everyone in Canada. Canada doesn't need to exist. It's a very dumb idea, and it's got to go. It's just shit. So it's got to go. As much as I love Canadians, some of them, they're also the stupidest people in the world, and they slept through this whole thing. They just don't know what's happening. They're too stupid. They didn't keep up. They consume too much fake news, too much legacy news, too much brain damage, too low IQ, and they're going to have to deal with it. And it's not going to be pretty for a lot of them, but they won't survive this. You should not have shorted America. You should not have underestimated America. Never fucking underestimate America. Don't do that. If you want to have like a happy worldview, admit that America is an amazing thing that can change and embrace Bitcoin with it. Look, think about it like this. Think about how amazing America is. Think about this. Bitcoin is 15 years old, guys. 16, whatever you want to call it. And we're here. We have a Bitcoiner president. We're talking about eliminating the Fed. We got Ron Paul coming in. It's over. America is the greatest place ever. It's not even close. It's not even close. No other country could have done this. No other country could have pivoted from the world reserve currency in 2008 to a whole new currency that separates money and state within 16 years. And we did it through Donald Trump and rocket scientists and all of the most amazing things you'll ever see. And Canada, as great as it is, so at least, unlike Europe, who is totally susceptible, not immune at all to brainwashing, right? American brainwashing that just smallpox to them. It just rolls over them and they're like, oh, the Americans are so dumb. Because, with the European mind, it's all about they're better and Americans are fat and stupid. And so the whole thing is like a bias, pattern recognition, bias, confirmation bias and all that stuff, right? So that's one of the big issues that we can see. And so because of those biases and all that stuff, the Canadians have it a little different. Although most Canadians are retarded and very, very stupid, you have the opposite reaction that you can't find in Europe. Canadians like myself, and I don't want to give myself too much credit, but one of the things Canadians can do better than anyone else in the world is understand America. We have just enough of a gap between us and America. We speak American, we think like Americans, but we have just enough gap to be able to see it in its entirety. Just like at my house, I can view all of America from my view. I live at the top of America, right on the border in Vermont. And it's what Canadians are known for in the world, right? We're media theorists. Marshall McLuhan, I'd say, is one of the most famous Canadians. He's the one who probably is the most important media academic that ever lived. And all the comedians that come from Canada. The comedians that come from Canada are able to be comedians in America because they get it and they're able to laugh about it in a way that Americans are touched and understand it, right? That's why you get so many Canadian comedians. We get America probably better than anyone else in the world. We're also dumb in Canada. There's enough stupid Canadians for sure, but we get America a little different than anyone else. There's a lot of people that see America the way I see it, because we blend in America so easily. We are American people. We're not the same as the Europeans. So Canada has that redeeming ability. That's what you saw with the truckers. I think the trucker thing is going to go down as the beginning of Trumpism returning. I think Canadians will have a lot to be proud about. Now, if they just pronounce about, Canadians have a lot to be proud about in World War III. We're not the loser country that I sometimes describe us as. We will be remembered as one of the great winners of World War III, just like World War II. We were along for this ride like Americans. But just remember what I said. America is amazing because, look, 16 years and the entire country is different than in 2008. It's the whole thing. No other country could have done this. This is not normal. This is what America is. It's not a normal place. And so we're going to be able to reinvent all of the country now. Trump's got the Senate. He's got the House. This is going to be too good. Nothing can stop it. Nothing can stop it. I am feeling a bit disoriented with euphoria this morning. We all are. Yeah. I see a lot of dumb Canadians. Yeah, but we don't care about the dumb ones. We don't care about the dumb ones. Americans are our bros, indeed. They sure are. Yeah. There we go. Is this really your last episode? No one makes me laugh this hard with your matter-of-fact way of calling people retarded. It's not really my last show. It's the last version of the show in this format. It'll come back as something different time too, I think. I will have guests in the next iteration. Those will be some guests. I'll do some solo stuff too. I can't have a guest every day, but there'll be some guests, and it won't be as focused on media stuff. I mean, what are we going to do? Talk about Molly Jong Fast and Rachel Maddow losing their minds and trying to commit suicide? I mean, it's not that interesting. The breakup was interesting because I was the first person to talk about Trump and Bitcoin when it was still weird, and you came here because it was kind of exciting to hear about it, and no one else would have done it. Everyone else was a little too afraid. And so that's what had the interesting drama and the early breakup episodes that I think you guys all came back for. But now it's time to, go with where I think things are headed. I mean, the reason I did the breakup, we call it the breakup for that reason, that we were cataloging exactly what we saw happen, right? The failure of the mainstream media, the failure of blind national identity, those kinds of things. Patriotism that Americans had, even Bitcoiners for the US dollar, very stupid, right? Very dumb. So that is over. I mean, I can't do a show about what the media said about Trump. It's not, I mean, since Trump came to Nashville, like I said, when I went around saluting everyone, what are you going to do after the war? Congrats. It was an honor serving with you. It was an honor. It wasn't. I know it was an honor serving with all of you. It really was. We served out World War III together. And we're done. We can do the Times Square kiss now, World War III is done. So we're not really going to stop the show altogether. We're just pivoting to what I think is the next story, which is the Citadel stuff, which is Trump. So we'll still talk about Trump. We're going to talk about his positive stuff about building new cities and real estate. Basically, I want Trump to go back to his original job, real estate, right? We're getting into real estate now on the show. It's going to be a real estate show. I'm pivoting to real estate, guys. We did media, but now we're going to real estate. It's particular real estate, Citadel tech. It's not the same kind of real estate. P-Man, looking forward to the next adventure. Yeah, it's going to be a very similar daily show. We'll try to incorporate some Moscow time in it. Jumper DCS World, I'll be a guest. Great. Thanks a lot, man. Anyone who's out there doing Citadel-y stuff, I'll definitely have Austin Alexander on, who's been watching this morning. He's got a farm in Puerto Rico. It'll be a bit like Cribs. Part of the show is going to be like Cribs, like check out Bitcoiners' homesteads. Check out Bitcoiners' water filtration. Check out this Bitcoiners' mining rig. Check out this Bitcoiner's solar power. Check out this Bitcoiner's cows. Check out this Bitcoiner's farm and garden. And then we'll scale it to things like Bitfarms has bought a power station. That kind of stuff, right? Honorable and good. The next show must rise. It will. Yeah, it'll be the same vibe. We'll be having fun. Skate to where the puck is going. Exactly. A famous Canadian said that. Famous Canadian. We love that Canadian. We love Canadians. We will enter into a revelation period of dark past for a while. Yes, I think you're right. We'll cover that. We're going to be covering that. We will still chart the Fiat apocalypse. There's no doubt. Terraforming going to be part of it. Yeah. Gelman amnesia. Yeah. We'll be talking about some of this stuff, guys. We're not going to completely let these storylines go because they're so interesting. But the main frame will be about what we're building and the news about what we're building. So you'll come here for energy news. You'll come here for a bit of lifestyle news. We'll be doing all that kind of stuff. And it'll be a bit, put it this way, it'll be more, the way I did the show until now was find examples of the Fiat apocalypse. And then at the end of the show, if you remember the earlier days, we would contrast it with good news about Bitcoin. I'd say as we went deeper into the Fiat apocalypse, we started getting rid of a little more of the good Bitcoin news. I think what the show will be in the future is much more of a Bitcoin show. We're going to be talking much more about actual Bitcoin stuff all around us. Not markets and things like that as much, but what we're building in Bitcoin and in particular energy systems. So anything to do with like nuclear energy and all that, you're going to get the news here. And so it'll be fun. Outstanding day to be alive, but Moscow time. Oh my, I'll miss them. Oh no, we'll get Moscow time. Yeah. We'll still do some Moscow time. It'll be like Moscow time and Citadel time. That'll be the contrast. It's like, it's going to be like the Moscow time is going to change slightly. It's going to be like more like, look at what the sludge people are worried about today, right? This is their big concern. And it'll be something dumb like global warming. And then let's look at what the Bitcoiners are doing. They bought a nuclear reactor, and this guy has so many cow farts going that he's turned desert into green pasture land. So that's what's up. Oh, this is where our life show gets better and better, all the way past the moon to the very stars. Yeah. That's what we're doing. Yeah. You're gonna see chickens and things like that on the show now. It'd be cool. All right, friends, that's about all I got. We still got a big crowd in here. I'd love to see it. I want to take out a few more quotes before I let you go. This one's good. We got Daniel, who is in my hometown. I love Quebec. Had a great time in Nolan's hometown last weekend. Glad. Young Tommy says, I love you, and I love you all, and I love America. Yeah, we love America. Yeah. Trump just pulled the greatest comeback of all time, didn't he? But remember, we pulled the greatest comeback of all time. We did it. It was Trump wrote us. He gave us the energy to do this. He's a huge part of this. But there is no way he gets this done without the Bitcoiners who understood don't trust, verify, never forgetting that the scam 2020 election was garbage. And we had to do something about it. So I did the show. Lots of people did a lot of great things, and we made it. When's the new show coming? AD says, well, soon, real soon. I haven't done a test episode yet, but I've got a few things ready to go. It'll be this month for sure. for sure this month. For sure. I'm going to Dubai in November or December, and I'll be back in Dubai in January and February. And a lot of that's going to be Citadel stuff. So I'll have a lot of material and stuff like that. So it will be in November, though. Again, sometimes there'll be guests, sometimes there won't be guests. We'll see. Memorable episode 5, why Biden's vax mandate will result in the best fried chicken I've ever eaten. Yeah, that was it. Biggest YouTube crowd ever. Is that so? No, I used to get a lot when we were still doing it on Bitcoin Magazine at the after the RFK show last year, 2023. And just before I started pulling it off of Bitcoin Magazine, I was getting 400 live. I know because I was making sales decks out of it. This is the biggest YouTube on my own without broadcasting on other channels. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. No, I've gotten over 100 on YouTube alone before too. Yeah, I have. Bitcoin Breakup Crew alumnus, much love, massive respect. Bitcoin Breakup Crew indeed. Yeah, I got to thank you guys all for coming every morning and doing all that. Yeah. The return of raw milk. Indeed. Minx Labrada says, Revelation, yeah, like all the buildings that were founded and how Americans supposedly built some of the massive stone buildings. Yeah, that's so the Minx Labrado, absolutely. So even my first, one of the first things I'll be doing is definitely going into more of the Atlantis stuff, because this cycle isn't about the news being fake. It's about history being fake. And we're going to get deep into that. I have no idea where it's headed, but I'm a big believer in antediluvian things just as entertainment. Like when I go on to YouTube at night, I'm looking into Atlantis stuff, right? That's like when I'm not doing Bitcoin and I'm not doing media analysis or work or things like that. My entertainment is all prehistory stuff. And I think that's where it's headed. I think we're going to head deep into the history stuff. So that's where it's going. You will keep Rumble on YouTube and X? I sure will, Sanding Plane. I sure will. Jason F says, thank you for guiding us through these crazy times. Love you. Thanks, Jason F. I appreciate it. Alex Irwin, can't wait for the Citadel show to come up. Yeah, it'll be soon. We're not going to make you guys wait long. How will they buy 4 million Bitcoin? Yeah. You're talking about Trump? We don't know. What would be on your mind? A bit of Trump loss. What would be today's episode then? It would have been a get out of America thing. Like this can't be turned around. This is Bolshevik. The only way to recover is to regroup outside of the country. So I would have given everyone an advice to flee and not stick around to fight. That would have been. I mean, simply because there would be no. The power of the state was going to get engaged, and there would be no way to beat that. So it would have been like, we're okay. I would have said that, and I would have said that the income tax won't survive this. My number one prediction is no one was going to believe it. And without any belief, it was going to have to turn violent. And so in the same way that I said, do the shock and awe with the space drops, there would have been shock and awe the other direction, right? So it would have been like the J6 trials. So it would have been arbitrary, and arbitrary things that you can't predict, you have to get away. Now, the difference is we would have had all kinds of smart people. So you would have seen a lot of people doing this. And I believe we would be running a no income tax campaign as protest. And it would be enough to create enough tension to have maybe something happen sooner. But it would have been a little bit like at the end of I love the movie Revenge of the Sith, right, in Star Wars. You got to plan for you're planning on the next generation winning the fight at that point. Unfortunately, we would not be here saying, I would not be doing a Citadel show, or I would be, except it would have looked a lot different. It would have been a lot different. So we'd have gone for that. But yeah, I mean, it would have been those things. How to sell your house and move to El Salvador. Yeah, it would have been El Salvador would have been on my list. Yeah, I would have probably gone. Yeah. Jevi says, it's been an honor. On to the next chapter. Indeed, it was an honor serving with all of you folks in World War III. And I'm glad we won. It would not have been fun. Graham is big in that field. Yeah, I'm a big Graham Hancock guy. I've been trying to get him to the shows. He's got to become a Bitcoiner. Outlook for Noster. Well, I'm a fan. But honestly, so here's my problem with Noster. It's like, if you want to get traction on Noster, you have to stroke Noster's big mic. You got to be like, Noster's the only place. Check out my content. You can't just say, check out my content. If you're not out there loving Noster, no one wants to hear about it. So it's got to get over that. It's got to get over that. Because I don't get any I don't get any dopamine from Noster, if that means anything, right? Like, I go on, I share my stuff. All I see is people, I wish there was more content on Noster. There's plenty. No one cares about it. No one shares it. They only share it if it's like Noster big mic stroking. That's it. That's all they do, So I don't know. And then Jack Dorsey's there. It's like, what is he doing over there? Why would I do anything where Jack Dorsey is? He's a loser. I don't want to go anywhere where that guy is. That's like loser town now, right? If you're in public and you're like, hey, Jack, imagine being in public today with Jack Dorsey, who's out there sending, Michael Moore video links in 2024. So, and compare him to, the greats like Elon Musk. Sorry, Jack. So I love the idea of Noster. I hope it continues. I never got, I like tension. I like drama. I like to see the libtards and laugh at them. And there's not a lot of libtards out there except for Jack Dorsey. So there you go. I'm on delay. Can you believe there's going to be a strategic stockpile and people are still walking around with zero Bitcoin? How do we help them? Bitcoin stacker of last resort. Yeah. Like Darsab says, they're going to have their, maybe they'll have their food stamps. Yeah. Yeah. I'm a fan of Noster. I'm not going to stop. I go on there and I post and I do stuff, right? If you're on high, you. I'll go there. All right. That's all I got, team. Again, thanks for coming. It was an honor serving with you all. On to the next stuff. World War III, out. And Breakup, out. It was a great run, everyone. Thanks for coming.